And now to answer the question everybody's got, why kill a good two-door to fix a ratty four-door? I thought the whole front clip was gone.
I mean, the grill is almost usable.
Cool.
My headlights are gone now.
It's all right. It's all right. Oh, good.
I just took the, once it was off the ground, I just steered left and right.
Yeah. I made the 250-mile trip into south central Missouri for the 67 Impala. Long drive, but I'm here. This one's all complete, intact, unmolested car. Got the front cornering lights and the bumper guards. This one is a 327 car, and it's all complete, basically untouched since they parked it. Everything's here, all the interior and everything, complete intact just like they left it. Really straight, solid car overall. Now you could get this fastback or the convertible. Those were the two Impala models in 67. No vinyl top rust. It's even got the rear bumper guards. Really nice patina on the whole thing. If you're into that, I know a lot of guys like to repaint them. But this car, overall, just how you like to find them. Now, as great of a car as this is, and as good a shape as it is, I've got to kill it. And when I get these two together in the next section, I'm going to explain why. So here is the 67 Caprice. You can see pretty solid car overall. There is some rust at the bottom of the quarter, bottom of the fender that's going to need patched. Obviously, the car sat in a junkyard, and so there's quite a few pieces missing off the front end. Luckily, that's all bolt-on stuff, and there were no major panels sawed out of the car, anything like that that would have punched its ticket to be a parts car. But the reality is, to restore this car, you're gonna need some more pieces, and that's pretty much where the two-door comes in. These aren't like a muscle car, like a 67 Chevelle, where you could just pretty much go to the catalog and buy all the missing stuff. You just have to kill another car to be able to get all the things you need to realistically restore it. Dashboard of this car has been pillaged pretty hard. There's some pieces left, but a lot of it's gone. I did work all the doors on this and got them opening and closing, which this car being from way out west, really dry, and so they all open and shut pretty nice. I did make a video a while back showing how to free these latches, and if you haven't seen that one and you've got a car that's a stumper and you're trying to figure it out, there's a lot of good helpful advice in there. I showed the front doors on that, and the rear doors pretty similar but a little different. The one thing I did figure out on these rear doors is that about half of that latch mechanism is controlled by the lock. And so when you're starting on that, if you can get that lock opening and closing up and down, that's a huge advantage to kind of cheating ahead and getting a lot of those rear parts to work. And just keep spraying it, tap it with the hammer just gently to work that lube in there, and that gets you going. So I ripped the carpet out, and you can see super solid in there. Way better shape than the yellow 67 Impala that I got before. For whatever reason, that car's kind of growing on me, and I'm pretty sure I want to do a revival on it. Bought some sheet metal, and so later on I'll probably show the process of replacing the floors in that car. Realistically, this Caprice, way better car to start with than that Impala. I did pull all the trunk mat out, and super solid in here. Just really good trunk floor braces and everything. All that weather seal channel, really good shape. So this Caprice is going to be a good fixer for someone. And now to answer the question everybody's got, why kill a good two-door to fix a ratty four-door? Well, the simple answer is it's the market. So anybody that follows these cars much, you know that the reason why a four-door hardtop has the interest that it does is from the Supernatural television show. Not something that I'm really into. I watched half an episode and wasn't into it too much, but there's a lot of people that think it's great for them. So I trade around in cars, obviously. That's the gist of the channel here. And I've just noticed that a lot of your two-door cars, they seem to struggle to bring 20 grand, 25 grand even for real nice ones. And a good four-door hardtop, restored all the way to screen correct appearance, and that means chrome saw blade wheels, front and rear bumper guards, cornering lights, black vinyl seat covers with tan door panels. That's pretty much the screen correct appearance of the car. They say that the one they used for filming was a big block, but there's quite a bit of wiggle room on that. Nobody's really gonna bluff too hard if you have a small block Chevy in there, if you have an LS, whatever. The hood's generally not open anyway too much in the film, so nobody gives too much of a care about what engine's in it. So realistically, you've got the two-door with the bumper guards. Those are not reproduced. A lot of other years are, and those are probably worth close to what I paid for this two-door just for those guards alone. And these front cornering lights, none of that stuff is reproduced, although you can get the lenses and the bezels for those lights, but the housings are hard to come by. And so the rest of the front clip, the heater box, the dash, and the reality is the screen correct appearance of the four-door is as an Impala, and the Caprice, at first glance, there's a lot of it there that is right, but there's a lot of it that's not. And so all your dash parts, your emblems, everything has got to come out of an Impala to be correct. Now the four-door specific stuff like the body side moldings and even the front seat, which is different because the Caprice has the armrest, the Impala is just a straight bench. Those parts can come from a four-door post, and I've parted out several of those. Obviously that two-door bench seat won't work because it's a split back. So when I put one of these cars together, Caprice, Impala, whatever, four-door hardtop, I title it. I can set an engine in it if you want. Most people are just going to put whatever they want in there, so the engine's not a big deal. And I sell them with everything that's necessary for the changeover. The tail lights, the trunk molding, the rear bumper ends, marker lights, the cornering lights, because I've got a bunch of them. Bumper guards, not so much. Those are real hard to come by. But when I sell this car titled as a project, it'll have everything necessary for the changeover to the Impala appearance. And that's just the reality of the market of these cars. A lot of that tends to be just the emotional attachment that people have with seeing this as the hero car in a TV show. And realistically, that's what makes a car worth restoring, is that emotional attachment. And so honestly, if anybody would have had the same emotional attachment to this two-door, if it was grandpa's car, if they had had one in high school and were wanting to recreate that, live the glory days over again, then for any reason, a two-door could have potentially the same emotional tie and attachment that a four-door would. But the reality is, there's more people looking for these four doors. There's more of them that are going to take it all the way and realize that double valuation that a four-door has against a two-door. And it's the reality of the market. It's not something I decide. It's something that the other people who are interested in these cars, who have bought and sold them, they decide that. And supply and demand is what pushes it there. The TV show didn't come out until like 15, 20 years ago. And so by that time, how many four-door cars had been crushed? They'd outlived their useful lives. They'd gone away in junkyards. And how many more had been parted out to save two doors, to rebuild hardtops, convertibles. And so by the time these cars were past 30 years old, close to 40 years old, the amount of them that were left to rebuild by the time they reached the popularity from one TV show, the pool of supply was pretty short and the demand went up. And it's just simple economic market forces that drive the value of these cars. So that answers the question that we asked in the title of this video. And with that said, I'm going to get going here, get the pieces taken off and put together, and get this thing ready to have an engine set in it, title it, and be on the way to being someone's dream car. Just a little bit of freebie bonus content to show the status of this car. I did drop an engine in it and took it to inspect at the Highway Patrol to apply for the title, and that's just a part of the process. Got to drop an engine in, something that they want in there to be able to mark on the title how many cylinders the car has. Probably not a lot of you are familiar with the concept of a mood board, but a mood board basically is just elements of design, color, things that you put together to get the vision for a project. And I know the money in these cars is black with saw blade wheels, but I really think the mood board for this car that I've got here set up is how it needs to go back together. And that is with the wire spoke hubcaps and a black vinyl top. Even though that's not what this car came with, I do have the moldings saved from another Caprice that we sold as a project. And so I think that's the way this car needs to go back together. I have ordered the floors for it. These are pretty rough shape, so I'm going to show that process later on at some point of getting those put back together, get this car right. I never did like the way the front door fit off the parts car, and so I'm going to recruit some help and straighten out the original one. If I have to skin it, worst case, so be it. But I want to have the original Born With panel back on the car and fixed. And so that's a quick status update of this 67.